Hello everyone, we will be summarizing the first 5 episodes of the anime called One Punch Man. The episode then switches to a flashback 3 years before he became a hero, showing an unemployed Saitama's encounter with Crabland, a man who gained crab-like features after eating too much crab. The monster spares him, explaining that it is hunting a boy with a large chin. Saitama promptly encounters the child, who is revealed to have drawn nipples on Crabland with a permanent marker while he was asleep. When Crabland finds them, Saitama decides to protect the child and kills the monster by ripping out its eye stalk with his necktie. As present-day Saitama reminisces about the events while shopping, a colossal man attacks the city. The man is the result of an experimental steroid called Biceps Brachii King, developed by his mad scientist older brother. The two set out to conquer the world, only for the older brother to observe, in shock, that Saitama is riding on his brother's other shoulder. He orders the giant to kill the man on his shoulder, accidentally causing his own death. The enraged younger brother attacks Saitama, seemingly defeating him, and bemoans the fact that despite now being the strongest man alive, he feels empty. Saitama, emerging unharmed, comments that absolute power is boring and defeats the giant, accidentally destroying B City. After defeating the giant, he returns home at night when he was noticed by a mysterious being. Saitama just stares at him and the monster insults his bald head, prompting Saitama to strike him with a single punch, killing the monster. The next morning, he wakes up to find himself in the middle of an invasion of the surface by overpopulated subterranean people, who have already exterminated 70% of humanity. Surprised by their strength, he deems them worthy opponents and engages in a mighty battle. At the moment where he has defeated a great number of them and is about to fight the subterranean king, he wakes up to discover that it was only a dream. Finding an actual invasion by the subterraneans outside, he is disappointed when they quickly surrender after he easily defeats their king and they show a white flag that says, "Sorry about that." While Saitama waters his cactus, the TV announces that the recent massive mosquito swarm is headed towards D City where he lives. He attempts to kill a mosquito but fails each time. In the abandoned city, a looter taking advantage of the situation has his blood drained by the mosquitoes, which are being controlled by Mosquito Girl. She fights with Genos, who as a cyborg is not affected by the swarm, each taking a limb from the other. She then powers up by consuming the blood gathered by her swarm from the animals in the surrounding wilderness. This causes the battle between her and Genos to become one-sided, but she is killed by Saitama in a single slap. In amazement, Genos asks Saitama to become his disciple, to which he complies. Genos appears at Saitama's door days later, much to his annoyance. He explains his situation and his history between him and the mad cyborg in a long-winded monologue which frustrates Saitama. Elsewhere, a man in a secret facility analyzes Mosquito Girl's defeat and decides to capture Saitama for his experiments. Back in Saitama's apartment, Saitama and Genos' conversation is interrupted by the House of Evolution's messenger, who is promptly destroyed. Saitama is then trapped underground while Genos faces off against Armored Gorilla, another cyborg. Although Saitama soon escapes, he quickly defeats his two opponents and then questions the defeated cyborg, who panics when he realizes the rest of his team has been destroyed. The narration describes the story of Dr. Genos, a brilliant young scientist with ideas of artificially evolving humanity who became disillusioned with the world, eventually discovering the secret to immortality and creating multiple clones of himself. Saitama cuts off the narration in his impatience, and Armored Gorilla then explains that Dr. Genos is interested in Saitama's constitution. The cyborg and Saitama decide to attack immediately, since the store discount day is the next day. Before they leave, Genos asks Armored Gorilla about any cyborgs active 4 years ago that have destroyed any towns, which Armored Gorilla denies. In preparation for Saitama's arrival, the House of Evolution sets traps in their facility and reluctantly decides to release Carnage Kabuto. Once they arrive, Genos destroys the above-ground facility with a single blast before heading underground. The released Carnage Kabuto fights with Genos, taking no damage in the process. Carnage Kabuto then faces off against Saitama, but backs off when he detects how powerful Saitama really is. Saitama then reveals to the Rune his somewhat mundane daily training regime of 100 push-ups, 100 sit-ups, 100 squats, and 10 kilometers of running, much to Genos' disbelief. Carnage Kabuto unleashes his Carnage mode and appears to be beating Saitama back, but it transpires that Saitama was just shocked by the realization that the store discount day was that day instead of the next and defeats Carnage Kabuto easily, leaving soon after with Genos to catch the rest of the discount day. Having witnessed this, Dr. Genus abandons his plans of artificial evolution and realizes that he is the one who must change. After the credits, officials from the Hero Association inspect the House of Evolution blast site and discuss Geno's destructive power. A man named Hammerhead is out to make a utopia of the overworked and underpaid model of modern society. Nobody pays attention to him on the street though, as he announces plans against the rich man Zenitsu, who owns a nearby apartment building. Elsewhere, Saitama appears to be having a nightmare about playing rock, paper, scissors with someone who has a booger on their finger. Suddenly, he is angered to find out that Hammerhead has made it so that having a bald head makes you dangerous. He runs out to put an end to it. Meanwhile, Zenitsu hires his own bodyguard to protect him against the movements of Hammerhead and his gang. His bodyguard is named Speedo Sound Sonic. He faces the bald group on their way to Zenitsu's lair and warns them that nobody usually survives after facing him in a fight. In just a few seconds, Sonic beheads just about all of the Hammerhead bald group. Elsewhere, Saitama is getting called a terrorist for his bald head. Finally, only Sonic and Hammerhead remain. Hammerhead manages to escape with his life, but then runs into Saitama in the forest. Hammerhead prepares to fight him by powering up. Saitama punches his entire suit off, seemingly feeling sympathy for him. Hammerhead runs away naked. Then Sonic shows up and tries to attack him, but Saitama explains that he's not one of Hammerhead's followers. But now that Saitama has blocked his attacks, Sonic still feels he must beat him. Saitama accidentally punches him in the crotch. Sonic then declares that he will train until he can beat him, while he barely stands from that one punch. Back at home, Saitama tells Genos to leave him alone as he has a serious problem to solve. The problem is, nobody has any idea who Saitama is despite all of his accomplishments. Genos tells him to sign up on the official hero register online. Saitama and Genos register together and must take a hero test to be official heroes. Saitama and Genos are finally going to become registered heroes, but first they have to pass a physical and written test in order to prove that they are worthy of being a hero. Saitama easily surpasses the physical exam and anyone else that took it. Even though he aces the physical exams, he doesn't do as well on the written part. Saitama passes the test by just 1 point and is given a C rank, while Genos gets a perfect score and is given an S rank. Saitama and Genos are the only ones who made it out of all the applicants to actually be in a class where Snek is going to teach the class. Sadly, the class teacher is too confident in his skills, but Genos and Saitama are clearly stronger. Genos still doesn't believe Saitama's secret training strategy and thinks there must be some other secret that even Saitama himself might not know. Meanwhile, Genos is giving it his all in a spar, while Saitama is just messing around, not really caring about the fight. So he asks Saitama to give it his all, and right when he does, the fight ends without Saitama even hitting him. Then Genos came to realize that Saitama is on another level that even he himself can't pass by just training. Be sure to like and subscribe to the channel with the bell, so as not to miss new videos. And AniCash was with you. See you soon.